For years, we've been told that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Nutritionists, doctors, and even advertisements have drilled this idea into our minds. But what if that's not entirely true? What if breakfast is just another meal and skipping it might actually be better for some people? Today, we're going to break down the myths, science, and real truth behind breakfast, and why it might not be as essential as we've been led to believe. Origin of the breakfast myth. Let's start by asking an important question. Where did the idea that breakfast is the most important meal of the day even come from? Many people believe this phrase comes from scientific research, but in reality, much of it was popularized by the food industry. In the early 20th century, companies like Kellogg's and General Mills aggressively marketed breakfast cereals as a necessary part of a healthy diet. In fact, Dr. John Harvey Kellogg, a major advocate of breakfast cereals, was more interested in selling his products than actual scientific evidence. Over time, these marketing messages became common wisdom. Advertisements promoted breakfast as the key to better energy, focus, and even weight loss. But were these claims backed by science? Not exactly. Metabolism myths about breakfast. One of the most common arguments in favor of breakfast is that it kickstarts your metabolism, but let's take a closer look at that claim. Metabolism refers to the process by which your body converts food into energy. Some believe that eating breakfast speeds up this process, helping you burn more calories throughout the day. However, multiple studies have shown that meal timing has little impact on overall metabolism. Your body doesn't just shut down overnight. It continues burning calories whether you eat first thing in the morning or not. What really affects metabolism is your total calorie intake and physical activity throughout the day, not whether you eat breakfast. In fact, some studies suggest that intermittent fasting, which often involves skipping breakfast, can actually enhance metabolic function by improving insulin sensitivity and promoting fat burning. Breakfast and weight loss, the real truth. Another big claim is that eating breakfast helps with weight loss. We've all heard it before. Skipping breakfast makes you gain weight. But is that true? Some studies initially suggested that breakfast eaters tend to have lower body weight. However, a closer examination reveals that these studies were often observational, meaning they only show a correlation, not causation. In other words, just because breakfast eaters tend to be thinner doesn't mean eating breakfast caused them to be thinner. In fact, newer randomized controlled trials, which are much more reliable, have found no significant weight loss benefits from eating breakfast. Some people actually consume fewer calories overall when they skip breakfast because they don't compensate by overeating later in the day. The takeaway: weight loss is primarily determined by calories in versus calories out, not whether you eat in the morning. Intermittent fasting and skipping breakfast. One of the most compelling arguments against breakfast being essential is the rise of intermittent fasting, IF. IF is a dietary pattern that involves cycling between periods of eating and fasting. Many people who practice intermittent fasting naturally skip breakfast and eat their first meal later in the day. Research suggests that intermittent fasting can offer several health benefits, including improved insulin sensitivity, which reduces the risk of diabetes, better fat burning and weight loss, cellular repair and autophagy, a process that helps remove damaged cells and improve longevity, better focus and mental clarity. Contrary to what many believe, skipping breakfast doesn't necessarily lead to energy crashes or brain fog. In fact, many people report feeling more alert and productive when they fast through the morning. When breakfast may be beneficial. Now, while breakfast isn't inherently necessary, that doesn't mean it's bad. There are certain groups of people who may benefit from eating in the morning. Children and teenagers. Younger people generally have higher energy needs and may perform better in school with a nutritious morning meal. Athletes and highly active individuals. Those who engage in intense physical activity may need fuel earlier in the day for optimal performance. People with certain medical conditions. Those with diabetes or specific metabolic conditions may need to eat more frequently to maintain stable blood sugar levels. So, while breakfast is not the most important meal of the day, it can still be useful for some individuals depending on their lifestyle and health needs. The food industry's role in breakfast marketing. Let's go back to the role of the food industry in shaping our perception of breakfast. Many breakfast foods are not actually healthy, but are highly processed and loaded with sugar. Popular breakfast cereals, pastries, and even flavored yogurts are often packed with refined carbohydrates and added sugars, leading to energy crashes and increased hunger later in the day. Yet these foods have been marketed as healthy for decades. Instead of blindly following marketing trends, it's better to focus on quality nutrition rather than meal timing. Whether you eat breakfast or not, your priority should be whole, nutrient-dense foods that support overall health. Listen to your body. The best approach. At the end of the day, the best dietary approach is one that works for you. Some people feel great eating breakfast, while others thrive without it. The key is to listen to your body and make dietary choices based on how you feel, not just outdated nutrition myths. Here are some practical tips. If you're hungry in the morning, eat a balanced breakfast with protein, healthy fats, and fiber. If you're not hungry, don't force yourself to eat just because you think you should. Focus on overall quality rather than meal timing. Experiment with different eating patterns, like intermittent fasting, to see what works best for your body. So, is breakfast really the most important meal of the day? The answer is not necessarily. While it can be beneficial for some people, there is no one-size-fits-all approach to eating. What matters most is the quality of your diet, your total calorie intake, and how you feel. Next time someone tells you that skipping breakfast is unhealthy, you'll know the real truth. It's time to stop following outdated nutrition myths and start making informed choices based on science and personal experience. What are your thoughts? Do you eat breakfast every day, or do you prefer skipping it? Let us know in the comments. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more content on health and nutrition. Thanks for watching.